Good morning, and welcome to Grief Support Group. This is the show where I talk all things pop culture, my research on grief and media, and I answer your advice questions. I'm your host, Alex Piscatelli, and we are here for a very special episode of Grief Support Group. Guess why? I have a really big announcement to share. But first, let me share the agenda for the day, and then we'll get into my distraction before I get into the announcement. Then we'll get into the announcement. But I'm going to do my normal talking segment in the beginning. I have things to say, things to announce. After that, we're going to get into my thesis update and talk about a little bit of research in media. In grief and media. I am going to be discussing a book, and then I think I'm going to discuss, I hope I don't run out of time, I think I'm going to discuss that America's Next Top Model documentary that is on Netflix right now. I have a lot of thoughts on that, so I think I need to prioritize that. Next, I have 2 advice questions today. One is about a potential love match and their interesting Instagram likes. The other is about dealing with the death of a loved one when other loved ones don't talk about that person anymore. So we have a lot to discuss today, a lot of oscillating between dating and announcements and America's Next Top Model and everything in between, and grief and, all aspects, because on Grief Support Group, we touch all aspects. I feel like it's really important to talk about love, life, death, grief. That's what I say when I say send in your advice questions, right? Like, make it about one of those, but like all of life is about one of those, I suppose. Okay, so as promised, I have a really big announcement to announce on this show. But first, I feel like I sound like Julie Chen, which we will get to the Moonveses when we talk about the America's Next Top Model documentary. But but first I need to start with the weather. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. And you know what? I hate when people are like, I hate small talk. Like, let's talk big things. Like, when people say that? Well, first and foremost, I love small talk. I will talk about the weather and I will do it nonstop. I feel like it's important to talk about. It's like, how is that small talk when it's like a thing that we're all experiencing? Like, we're all in community together experiencing this horrid wind. You know what I mean? It's like, of course I'm going to talk about it. That's like the main thing we have going on right now. So yeah, the wind, oh my God. I really, listen, I'm wearing things that the West Coast hasn't seen. I'm literally wearing like a big parka puffer. It's not that big. It's cropped, of course. But I would wear that on the East Coast and I'm wearing it today. Why? And the truth of the matter is I was trying to be all self-deprecating because I had a call the other day with someone, like I had a meeting with someone who is on the East Coast, and I was telling her like, oh my God, it's storming. Like, and she was like, oh my God, like what's going on? And I was like, oh wait, sorry, this is a California storm. Like, I'm realizing you live on the East Coast where like much worse weather events occur. So that was me like 2 days ago, because 2 days ago it was just sprinkling and I was calling it a storm. Today though, the degrees, it's in the 40s. Okay. I woke up at 5 a.m. to a loud noise, and mind you, I can sleep through many things. I'm a deep sleeper. I'm the world's deepest sleeper. I wake up at 5 a.m. Husband of Grief and Media is also awake. Mascot of Grief and Media, Dory, is running for the hills. Like, she's gone in a flash. And I'm like, what is going on? And like, I tried looking out the window and like, I didn't confirm it this morning because I forgot. But I think one of our windows, like the screen flew away. Like, I don't know if that's true. Jack, if you're listening to this, please confirm or deny via text. But I think the screen I'm pretty sure it just flew away. And I don't know if it's like our screens are brittle, because like there was this one particular moment, like last May, I remember, because it was around my birthday and I feel like I was wearing my birthday princess cowboy hat. But like Dory, like our cat, like she like, it was really hot. So we had one of our windows is like a really like long skinny one, so it like almost hits the floor, and we had that one open, and so it was just like the screen and not like the glass, you know. And all of a sudden, like, I see Dory like gear up to like sprint like towards it, and then she like sprints towards it, and like the velocity and like mass of her body like made the screen door like pop out, like not fully, but like it was open like 3 to 4 inches. And I was like, was Dory trying to kill herself? Like, what is going on? Like, it anyway. So I don't know if our screen doors are just brittle, but also like Dory can make an impact. Like, she's 12 pounds, but she has mass to her. You know, she has density to her. So I don't know if the wind took away the window. And I don't know if that means that, you know, I don't know what that says about the storm, but it was really scary. And now that, like, when I was just walking into the radio just now, like, I felt like I was going to be blown away. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like, I was like, I'm in California. Like, I don't want to be wearing this parka and like still be cold. Mind you, again, it's cropped and I have like a sweatshirt on under that like I have tucked up into my bralette. So this is also cropped. So I have like a little bit of stomach showing. And then I have like a little Ugg boot on. So it's like not like I'm acting like it's like horrible weather, but like I just feel like, I don't know, it's like uncomfortable. I don't like to be uncomfortable. And so anyway, so that's the weather. That's the weather update. Okay. So now I guess we're all here for the big announcement, right? I don't know if we're all here for it. Okay, so let me like start by saying, how do I even begin? Like, I'm like, let me story tell. Let me get into it. Okay. So you all know that I applied for 2 PhD programs. And let me like set the mood, okay? So I was like, it's more important to me to be in California than get my PhD. Like, I am not going to be applying for a bunch of schools. I'm only applying for 2. Like, why would I apply for more than that? And mind you, like, I've always sort of had this mentality, like, for undergrad, I only applied for 5 schools. And like 3 of those were because the CSU, like, I got the waiver. So I was like, I might as well like check more than just SDSU. And then for grad school, I only applied for SF State. For my PhD, I was only going to apply for 2 schools. I'm like, why would I like apply for more? Like, I don't like, I've never been someone who applies for like 20 things. That's just not me. And so like, I think like the first, so already like with PhDs, you have to find someone who like faculty who fit your like research, which like obviously I'm doing stuff about pop culture, which is like not always looked at as like, I don't know, like highbrow, high, whatever. And then I'm also doing stuff about grief specifically in media and pop culture, which like is already not super like, not a lot of people are doing that. And people who maybe are doing grief are doing it in a different setting, like health communication. So, yeah, I only applied for 2 schools, UCSD and USC. UCSD, I didn't feel like it was the best fit. And I was like, I don't know, I'll just apply, like whatever. USC felt like the fit, right? But anyway, so like in December, I felt fine. Like I felt good about it. And I was like reading the grad admissions like subreddit. As I've mentioned, it's like this whole ecosystem. And I saw that people were applying for like 10, 15, 20 programs, which like, yeah, like obviously if my number one goal was to get my PhD, like that would be the way to do it, I suppose. But that's not my number one goal. Like, not only is my number one goal to live in California, but I feel like, I don't know, like my number one thing in life that I want is not necessarily to, like get my PhD and then become a professor and do research and all of that. Like, obviously that is of interest to me, but that's not my like number one thing, right? So, December, I was feeling fine about it. I saw those inklings on, online, but I was like, whatever. Then January hits, and like I feel like as soon as the new year hit, I was like, oh my God, I feel so anxious about it. Like I feel so anxious about what this year is going to be, and I feel so anxious about like, am I gonna get in? And if I don't get in, like what do I do? And not in the sense that like, oh, if I don't get in, like what's next for me, but more in the sense that like I'm someone who gets really, really on edge and stressed and anxious when I don't know what's next. And like I'm graduating this semester and I don't know, like when I graduated undergrad and that like last year, I was so stressed out all the time because I was like, I have no idea what job I'm going to have. And then it all worked out. You know what I mean? Like, it all worked out. Like, I remember I did a campaign, #GetAlex to NPR on Twitter, because I really wanted to intern at NPR. And then I found out I worked out in a public media station in San Diego, KPBS, for 3 years. Tried to use like my connections, you know what I mean? And I still didn't get an interview or anything. So I remember getting my rejection email, and like crying. I feel like this is like so TMI. I don't know what I just had to say. I feel like I was like on the toilet when I got that email. Anyway, I don't know. That just popped in my head because I was thinking where I was. Like, I remember like getting it and then like telling my mom. Anyway, but I felt that way and I felt really upset about it. And that was in, I think, like late February or March of my senior year of college. And then in, you know what? Maybe that was March, because then maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was end of February. And then in early April, in like March, I got an internship with the Emmys. So like I knew I had something, but it didn't feel right. So I guess that took away stress. But then in April, like I got a message from my future like manager at E! News, and she was like, hey, you should apply for this, because I had connected with her on LinkedIn and Twitter like the year before. So it worked out is what I'm trying to say. But I struggle with having like faith that things will work out. So anyway, by January of this year, I'm getting like so stressed out, right? I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't know what what's going to happen. Like, I'm so scared. So that's beginning of January. I'm freaking out ever since, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And then I feel like in the past few weeks, I've been second guessing, do I even want my PhD? Like, do I even want this? Do I? Because I feel like I've been talking to people who are incredible, incredible people. And they're like, oh, like, if you want to, like, you, for example, mentors who, like, I trust them so 100%. And from their vantage point, they know that I want my PhD, right? Like, because that's what I've been saying to them, and they wrote letter of recs or whatever. And they're like, oh, you didn't get in this time. Like, that's fine. It takes people multiple times. Like, you will find the program for you. And like, they're saying that so like well-intentioned. And if I wanted my PhD, like, first and foremost, that would be amazing advice and would make me feel better. But hearing that, I'm like, I don't know if I want to try again. Like, I don't know if that's for me. So anyway, so like I'm getting that advice. I'm second guessing. Me and Jack were in LA a few weeks ago, and like when my number one goal was USC, I'm in LA. Like, I'm in LA with that mindset of like, oh, we might be living here in the next few months. And I'm looking around, and like we were in El Segundo, we were in Culver City, we were in I'm not super familiar with the West Side, but I think Manhattan Beach, like one of the beach like towns like in the West Side, right? And Jack's like, oh my God, isn't this so nice? Like, couldn't you see us living here? Like, isn't this so nice? And I was like, no, like, I don't think so. Like, I really don't. Like, I do like El Segundo. There's like a really like cute like little like downtown strip. I don't even know if it's downtown. There's like a cute little area, and I love that area. But otherwise, driving around, I was like, I don't like this. Like, I'm not like an LA hater. I wish I loved it more. I think like I have to redo my like relationship with LA, because I've lived in LA before and I feel like it was a hard time for me. But like, okay, sorry. I know I'm like bearing the lead like a lot. Like I really am. But so anyway, I'm like second guessing if I want this. I'm figuring it out. I don't know, right? And then you all know, like, I got the rejection email from UCSD like 2 weeks ago. Expected, felt fine about it, didn't care, honestly. Then, okay, over the weekend, I'm so sorry. Over the weekend, I see people on grad admissions and subreddit and the Grad Cafe website, like, getting their rejections. So I was like, oh my God, decisions are coming. And like, there's people, because I lurk so hard on these subreddits. I never post, but I lurk. And so I see like similar characters, because anytime someone is posting about communication or like media programs, like I'm seeing it. So like typical chipmunk 560, like like they're a main character to me in my story. You know what I mean? No coincidence 8600. Like I'm seeing these same characters over and over, like posting about these programs and where they've applied. I saw these people say they did not get in USC. So I was like, oh my God, typical chipmunk, like just released a statement. They didn't get in USC, like decisions are coming. And so like, then like on Sunday night, like Jack and I kind of like got our hopes up a bit because we were like, oh my God, they're sending mass rejections. Like, is an acceptance coming? Mind you, this is a program that gets like 350, at least last year. Apparently this year is like a harder cycle, so we'll see how many total applications, but they're getting like 360 applications like for 10 spots. Like the odds that me and typical chipmunk get in like are like 2%. Like it's not high, you know what I mean? But like I'm seeing typical chipmunk and all these people getting rejections, so I'm thinking like, okay, like oh my God, like it's happening. So literally Sunday night, I cannot sleep. Like, I'm like, oh my God, am I getting literally Sunday night? Jack and I were like I was drinking my matcha and we're like sitting there and I was like, this is the last night that we're not going to know. Like, this is the last night we're not going to know what's next. Because we were either going to move to LA and I pursue this, or we're going to stay in San Francisco, right? Or stay in the Bay Area. So that night we couldn't sleep. Oh my God, I'm still getting over it. I have another star pimple patch on my face because my skin is just, I'm so stressed out that my skin is just going berserk. So I like keep waking up throughout the night. Mind you, remember, I am a deep sleeper. Like I sleep. I could not this night. I woke up at like 4:44. I remembered. I'm like checking. I'm like, oh my God, it's a sign. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm like checking the portal, I'm checking my email, like I'm checking all these things. Then I wake up like officially for the day at like 7:45 or whatever. And I'm like, no email. Let me just check the portal just in case. I log on to u.usc.edu and I log in and I see it says decision notification. And I was like, oh my God. And so I'm like, Jack, oh my God, a decision's here. And you have to like click it and then it downloads like the little PDF. So when the PDF downloaded and it was in my little downloads folder on the toolbar on the bottom, I saw it was like only 2 paragraphs and I was like, oh no, like did I not get in? And so I click it open and it was like, we regret to inform you. So I was like, oh my God, I didn't get in. And yeah, it was upsetting. I think it was upsetting because I think I kind of let myself get really excited where if I didn't get in, it would be fine. And it is fine now, mind you. Like I'll get to my feelings in a bit, but I was letting myself get hyped up where I was like, if they want me, like I'll get to focus on like grief and pop culture and get paid to do this like work. Like, that's so cool. I'll literally get paid to like be myself and do these things. And yeah, of course, that's not how the cookie crumbled. And that's okay. Like, I think I've just been reevaluating. And then that day, I was just so stressed out because I was like, the fact that I didn't get in takes away that like guarantee that I had something after graduating. And so now I have to like sort of figure it out. Okay, I guess I'm like also like making this sad. And I just want to say the breaking news is that we're staying in San Francisco. We're staying in the Bay Area, which like I really felt like I wasn't ready to leave. I feel like there's more for me here in the Bay Area. We've been here for 2 years now. I'm like building community. I'm like making all these connections. Like I am watching the traders in the city with friends. Like I just feel like I have good things going here and I'm not ready to leave. And so the big announcement is that I didn't get into PhD programs, but that's fine because I'm staying in the Bay Area. And you know what this means that I didn't get in the programs? It means that I get to focus on, well, first of all, I'm freelancing and I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to try to get some like teaching positions. I'm applying to different community colleges, different colleges. I want to teach. I think like I actually, maybe this is just my algorithm. Now I'm seeing a lot of people like talk about kind of academia. Oh my God, I see out the window someone's umbrella just flipped upside down. I hate when that happens. That's why I don't like umbrellas. Anyway, now I'm like distracted by the outdoors. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I say the outdoors, it's like a Prius driving by. Anyway, but like I feel like a lot of people like talk about like leaving academia, or not even leaving academia, but leaving like this idea of like becoming a professor at an R1 institution, which means you're putting out research. And like, professors who work at these institutions, like I saw this one person, I probably should cite him, but I don't remember. I sent it to my husband yesterday. But he talked about how like he was, like finishing up his PhD, and now he's going to go be teaching at Cal Poly SLO, which is oh shoot, I forget the word he said, but it's not like as big of a focus on like outputting like research or whatever, and so like he gets to focus more on teaching, right? And he's still doing research, but like he's not overseeing like PhD students who are like doing research, right? Like he gets to focus more on the art of teaching. And he was talking about how he made this decision because he was talking to different people at R1 institutions and being like, which is like, right, if you're in academia, that's like what you kind of are aiming for, but he was talking to them and they said why they like their jobs or what they like valued in their jobs. Not one of them said teaching. Literally not one of them is what he said. And I'm like, that's so insane, because to me the part that I like about this is like teaching and being in a classroom setting and getting to like ensure a classroom setting where people are in community and being collaborative and getting to learn about things in fun ways and getting to learn from each other. Like I want to be the curator of those vibes, so to speak. Anyway, so like I want to teach, I want to do all of that. And then I also want to keep doing grief and media. Like to me, I haven't had a ton of time to like really focus on it. Of course, I'm doing this weekly radio show, which now is going to continue guaranteed. But I also want to do interviews on the grief and media side of it. I want to like keep doing newsletters and keep doing essays and like really work on this. And then like the other thing I want to do, and I'm just going to put that out there now because like, I don't know why it sounds so silly to say you want to do creative things. Yet like if I was going to get my PhD, I'd say I was working on a dissertation about this. But I had put in my applications and like I have this goal where like if I was going to get my PhD, I wanted to do my dissertation on like the relationship between popular music and grief and trauma and loss. And so I didn't know if that was necessarily going to be examining the music itself or examining like audience response to it. But like you think of like Ariana Grande and Megan Thee Stallion, or like even like artists that are kind of like, I know they've always been around, but like someone like a Dove Cameron, they experience very like personal and also like public experiences with loss and trauma, and like they talk about it in their music, right? And I want to explore that, and like I wanted to do that for a dissertation, but I'm like, wait, why don't I write a book and like work on it in a book? Because I don't even want to talk to like academic people. I want to talk to normal people, you know what I mean? Anyway, but it sounds like silly to be like, I want to work on a book, but like I'm trying to like get over that fear of like sounding silly. Anyway, as you can see, Saturn has returned into Aries, okay? And my Saturn is in Aries. So we are here and we are okay, I'm realizing I talked a lot and I need to make sure I have time for America's Next Top Model. So what we're going to do now, thank you all for being here. Honestly, like I love it. Okay, we are going to take a music break. I have a very specific Bay Area playlist, and this isn't just like straight up Bay Area. This is also like my vision of Bay Area. So like obviously I have an Ariana Grande song on this playlist, but like I want to share this with you all. And yeah, we're going to take a little bit of a music break and then we'll get into my thesis update and talk about, let's prioritize America's Next Top Model. Okay, see y'all soon. Welcome back to Grief Support Group. I'm your host, Alex Piscatelli, and you just heard two of my favorite songs of all time, okay? San Francisco, You've Got Me by the Village People, and then you heard The Game of Love, Santana and Michelle Branch. Honestly, oh my God, what great songs. Okay, part of my Bay Area playlist, okay? Okay, now we are in the part of the show where we get into my thesis update, and then we talk about something related to grief and pop culture, okay? So because my first segment took way longer than it meant to, I am going to focus on America's Next Top Model because I know that is why we are all here if you have watched it. But first, let me talk about my thesis update. So I am now in the part, I got one, so I didn't get that sexy number 8 that I was hoping for in terms of the number of interviews. I got 7 though, and my last one was incredible. So now I'm at the point in my thesis, and don't forget my thesis is about I'm looking at how fans of teen drama television shows understand and interpret grief. So I did some interviews, and now I'm going to transcribe them and get into analyzing them. So all very exciting stuff. Once again, I will be graduating this May. And it's more important than ever that I do. But yeah, that last interview was absolutely incredible. And so I'm so excited. I think I'm really dreading. I hate just like stuff that's like data entry or just like, like I love using my mind and being creative, and so like the thought of like doing these transcriptions, because like Microsoft Word has a thing where it like transcribes. So I uploaded the audio into there, for all 7 interviews, but like, of course I have to like go through and make sure it's accurate. So I have to like literally listen to all of them and clean it up and whatever. So yeah, I'm really not looking forward to that. And because it's such like a task that like obviously requires brain power in some capacity, but it's not like my creative brain, I just dread it. Like I don't want to do it. So we'll see. Hopefully I have an update for you next week. Okay. But another update I wanted to share, because I need to hold myself accountable, is that me and my mentor from undergrad, who we have become friends as well, we are also working on a paper that we had submitted to a journal, and it is sort of examining grief representation and how it's portrayed in streaming rom-com. So think Always Be My Maybe, think To All the Boys I Loved Before, and think Love Hard. And so we are in the stage now where we submitted, we got our feedback, lots of it, and now we have to revise it. So I will be working on that, and more to come on that, I believe, next week. I think I'm going to share more on that, because you know what? I want to jump immediately into America's Next Top Model. Now, there's a new documentary on Netflix. It's a 3-part episodic documentary. I don't know. I tried to use the word episodic to sound really official, but it's just 3 parts, 3 episodes. So it's this documentary that the show like first aired right in the early 2000s, and I actually should have like prepared a little more before this to tell you like how many cycles they've done since then. And anyway, so they made this documentary sort of exploring it, because the show was obviously huge in the early 2000s. I literally remember I loved America's Next Top Model. It was my number 1 favorite show. And I remember they would have like America's Next Top Model marathons on TV like all the time. And so I don't know if I watched it live, at least the first few cycles. I mean, I was literally like 8. But I know at that age, like I was watching episodes like in a marathon. Especially I remember when I would be homesick from school, I would be watching America's Next Top Model. And literally, I remember, like, I don't lie about this. I don't like to lie about being sick. I feel like that's like, I don't know. I don't want to like get sick because I like lied about it. But I remember like I had like an inkling of a stomach ache. It was nothing crazy. You know what I mean? I was like, Mom, I can't go to school. Like my stomach hurts, because I saw they were doing a marathon of America's Next Top Model. And I'm like, I don't want to miss this. Like, I feel like school can wait. Like, I feel like I need to be watching this. And so like I would stay home from school watching these seasons, and I loved it. It was so like impactful for me. And I talk about how much I love reality TV. Like, I feel like what I love specifically about reality TV is it's like an examination of human behavior, like of social dynamics. And also I think like reality TV is such a fun thing to discuss with people around you. And so I feel like it keeps me like in community, and I love like watching it with people. You know what I mean? Like Survivor, I love watching with people. Traders, like I'm doing my watch parties. Like I love that. I feel like there's something so joyous about like being brought together by like media. I love media, whatever. So I love America's Next Top Model. Like I used to practice my model walk. Like I would take photos. Like I had my mom take me photos, and then like there was like this photo of me. I was probably like 10, and I like have a dress and I'm holding it up by like the front, like on top of my boobs. Like I'm holding it up, and then like the straps are like falling off my shoulder, and I'm like doing like a pout, and like just posing. Like I did like my eyeshadow, like I did my like lipstick, and then I had like my hair like pushed back with like a headband, but then just kind of like fluffy around the headband, and I'm posing. And I loved that photo of myself so much. My parents like got me it like for either my birthday or Christmas. Like they blew up like a big poster size and framed it because I loved that photo so much, and I loved America's Next Top Model. So for me it was serious. Like for me it was really serious. And I remember like America's Next Top Model was casting in Boston when my sister went to college, and I was like, you have to audition. She was like, I'm not like gonna do that. And I'm like, no, you have to. So I loved it. It was really serious for me. That being said, obviously like in 2020 during COVID, and they talk about this in the documentary, that like people, because so many people are at home, and I don't know if seasons got uploaded to Netflix or like what the vibe was, because I know that happened with Survivor too. Like people are like binge watching shows and like wanting to talk about it, but they're watching it through like a 2020s lens, right, versus like the early 2000s lens, which like in ways I get, right. And when I say in ways I get, like in the beginning of the documentary, because I think when we look back at America's Next Top Model, first of all, like when I remember, there's one season in particular I remember, it was either season 1 or season 2. And mind you, these women on the show, these girls, I mean, a lot of them were like 18, which I think was intentional, that they were like trying to get, you know, cast really like vulnerable women. And when I say vulnerable, I mean that they're young and impressionable and are okay with doing whatever like the show tells them to do in ways. But I remember there was in either cycle 1 or cycle 2, it was like near the final like 6 or 5 or 4, and they had to do a photo shoot topless with jeans, only jeans on and no top. And one of the girls, literally a size like 0 or 2, but like her body was just shaped like a little, I don't know, different than like the other girls, I guess. But like the photographer or like the set person or whatever was like, you're too fat to wear those jeans, like you look awful in our jeans, like I don't want you to be modeling this, which is like so insane. And like they would start casting like plus size models, and they explore this in the documentary. Like this person named Whitney, who was on, I believe, cycle 10, like she was a size 6 and she was considered plus size, right? And so like even though in many ways like Tyra Banks, the host, was trying to be like progressive for that time, like it fell flat, because like Tyra started the show because she felt like in many ways, like obviously the modeling industry and fashion industry was like problematic, like was racist, was like fat phobic, all these things. And so like she had her own experiences with racism and with like her body changing and then no longer being considered high fashion and all these things. So it's like, I believe it came well intentioned, and the documentary explores this. But in other ways, the show was really exploitative. And I think a lot of reality TV is and was and is. I mean, there's moments where they talk about like woman being like whatever, like a size 0 or 2, and like the judges would call her fat because her stomach like stuck out a little bit more compared to whatever, like the rest of her body, right? There were moments of like them all having to do a photo shoot where they had to be a different ethnicity. And it like made no sense as to why that was going on. And even like Jay Alexander talked about like not wanting to do that, right? Like not wanting to have them do that, but he had to. But then it also talks about moments where like there was a woman like who got assaulted on the show, and the camera people just continued recording it, and she wanted to leave the show, and they didn't let her, and they said, no, you can't call your boy, because she, like, they didn't even on the documentary really say it was assault, but it was like kind of implying, but no one said the word like rape. And like she wanted to call her boyfriend and they kept saying no. And then she wanted to leave. And then they were like, okay, you can call your boyfriend, but only if you are being recorded while you do this. And so it's just like so much manipulation on this reality TV. And there was one particular moment too that I never really thought about, but they were saying that some of the photo shoots, because they always had these themes, like whatever theme they gave that person. So for example, that person who like was skinny, but they would always comment on her stomach, they all had to like dress as animals, and they gave her elephant. And like it would be moments like that where it's so subtle, and like at the time they would just think it's a coincidence, but then it ended up just feeding into that narrative that they were trying to create on that season. Another particular moment that really stood out to me was, and I don't remember this that well from the show. I remember this contestant, but I don't remember the storyline. But there was this person on, I think Cycle 6. I don't remember what season, but her name's Dion, and they're like, because when they're casting for this show, these people are telling their stories, right? And like being really vulnerable. So her mom was shot by a former partner, and her mom, as a result of being shot, was paralyzed from, I believe she said, the waist down. And her mom was on the show, and her story with her mom was on the show. And then they had a photo shoot a few episodes into the season in which they were all victims of some sort of like violent crime, and they made her pose as like a gun violence victim. And she said at the time she just felt like it was a coincidence, and now looking back she realized it wasn't. And so the show in ways was trying to be like, just trying to like be progressive and make this difference and be kind of radical against what the fashion industry and what modeling had looked like up until that point. But in many ways, and very quickly, it became this experience that was exploitative and like using these very young women and really taking advantage of them in their stories. But one thing I couldn't help but be bothered by about this documentary, and I'm only 2 episodes in, so I know like it explores like Miss J and Jay Alexander and all of them more in the like their relationship now in the 3rd episode, so I can't speak on that yet. But one thing I wanted to point out is this is a show called Reality Check America's Next Top Model, right? And many ways they're talking about why these things are so horrible, but then they keep showing the scenes, and they're showing like the victims of these moments and having them react to it on camera. And not only that, but this is a show on Netflix, right? And Netflix is a network that now is dealing with its reality stars, like advocating against how they were treated. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about Love is Blind contestants and how they're advocating against like the way that they, like, there was not like a lot of food available to them when they were filming. Like, they're talking about their storylines kind of being life ruining. They're talking about like not having protections and needing a union and all these things. And so to me, I can't help but feel like the documentary in itself is exploitative, even though it's trying to explore the ways in which the original show was exploitative. I think it's doing so in a very similar way and lens, and on a platform that's doing very similar things. So I'm curious how the third episode is going to go. And of course, I'm still enjoying watching it despite these things, but I also felt it's so, I don't know, like, it was interesting. It was just interesting. I want to hear more people's thoughts. But it felt very much like, oh my God, it's like, I don't know. I struggle with this with some documentaries, and I'm not watching very, like, I don't know. I'm watching like Netflix documentaries when I'm watching them. Like, I watched that Unknown Catfish #1, and then I'm watching this one, and like, the documentaries are trying to explore like these things, right? But they're almost like brain rot, like brain rot and like being exploitative. And it's just weird. Like, that Unknown Catfish one, like, they show the police footage of the teenager finding out her mom was catfishing her and sending her awful things for like 2 years, and they show all of that in the documentary, and it just made me feel sick. And I feel like in this documentary, like, they're showing all these things, and it's not, it doesn't have journalistic integrity. Like, first and foremost, they are trying to entertain us, right? And like, showing us all these like horrible, awful clips in succession to like keep our attention, and yes, to examine it, but I just feel like they're doing it in a way that I don't particularly think is good either. Like, they're using the same tools to kind of capture our attention as America's Next Top Model did in the 2000s, right? So anyway, I really wanted to talk through that. And I have 2 advice questions for us, but yeah, I wanted to share that. And I am going to take a quick music break, and then we're going to get into our advice questions. So I'll see you soon. Welcome back to Grief Support Group. I'm your host, Alex Biscatelli, and you just heard Funkytown. And yes, no correlation to the Bay Area, but let me tell you about that song. So obviously in Shrek 2, they listen to it when they are going to Far, Far Away Land. When my mom and I were moving me to LA and looking at apartments in LA, when we saw the Hollywood sign, I would play Funkytown. So it reminds me of my mom, and it reminds me of new like possibilities and beginnings, and the fact that I'm graduating and I'm staying in the Bay Area, and we are probably moving within the Bay Area, not sure where yet, but I feel like it's a new era, new beginning, and I'm certain my mom and I would play Funkytown as it began. So now we are in the part of the show where I answer your advice questions. So we have 2 advice questions today, and let's jump right into it. So first, we're going to start with the first advice question. This person asked, I met a guy through mutual acquaintances and thought he was cool. We followed each other on Instagram, then I started to notice he was liking a bunch of reels of models and other women. What do you think about men publicly liking these types of posts? Okay, well, here's what I think. I think he should be canceled, okay? I think he should be canceled. I don't like that. I'm not okay with that. I actually think it should be a litmus test. If you are dating men, and I say specifically men, and I do this with it, I'm being intentional when I say this. I don't mean anyone. I mean specifically men. On the first date, I feel like let's challenge them. If you are interested in them, or even if you're not, have them open up their Instagram Explore page. Have them open up their Instagram Explore page. I want to see what's on your feed. I want to know what your algorithm looks like. I feel like that's important because guess what? So much of our lives are online, and so much of our thinking is influenced by the things we see online. Show me the Explore page. I want to see what's on it. Because if it's all women and selfies and models, no, you're done. Like, you're done. And so what do I think about men who publicly like these type of posts? They're done. I don't want to see them. I don't want to be around them. I don't. That's what I think. Yeah, there's this, I hope I'm allowed to tell this story. I don't know. There's this person I know, And she had a long-term relationship with a guy. And one day she had this inkling, and this was years ago, but I think about it often. She had this inkling one day to open up his phone and look at his Instagram DMs. And what she found was shocking. What she found was deeply shocking. She saw he messaged Instagram models like hundreds of messages to Instagram models. I'm changing the name for anonymity, but like, why would these Instagram models be replying to this guy, Brian? You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, come on. And so, like, why is he doing that? Like, he's obvious. Like, does he really, like, if he thinks they're going to reply, it's cheating. If he doesn't think they're going to reply, it's still cheating because he's being so weird. Like, I feel like being weird is like cheating. You know what I mean? Like, cheating isn't just like physical or emotional. Like, also being weird to me is considered cheating. Like, if you're with a partner and he's weird, that he's cheating on, like, he's cheating. Just the act of being weird is cheating to me. So no, like, to me, the act of publicly liking models and other women, like, you're cheating. You're being weird. You're being uncomfortable. Oh my God, I didn't even talk about the Les Moonves of the America's Next Top Model. Basically, Les Moonves was like saying how like America's Next Top Model was so dumb because they were like being diverse in their casting, like race wise. And like, and then come to find out also that like, literally it was in the news a few years ago, and mind you, Les Moonves is like a higher up at CBS. He's also married to host of Big Brother, Julie Chen, right? And she always used to say, "I'm Julie Chen, good night," or whatever, right? And then when 20 plus women came out about Les Moonves like either assaulting or harassing them, Julie Chen started saying, "And I'm Julie Chen Moonves, good night." It pissed me off. Anyway, so that just pissed me off. The Les Moonves of it all on America's Next Top Model pissed me off. But anyway, circling back to your advice question. Yeah, no, he's done. He's done. I don't like, honestly, the most ideal like man is one who doesn't even like have social media, I would say. Well, no, that's a lie, because I feel like men should be like pop culturally and culturally aware, which I feel like if you're not on social media, like you like, how could you quote a Vine? I don't know. I don't think you can. And so, yeah, no, I feel like that's horrendous. I would never be okay with that. If I looked at Jack's Explore page and saw it was all women, like divorce, like immediate. So yeah, no, you're better than this. This guy is weird. I think even like taking the step to like it is like, you're obviously doing that for a reason. Like, either you want to continue seeing these posts on your feed and that's why you're liking them, or you, for the off chance of this model like noticing you know, like you're gonna like it, or you want to, I don't even know what the other reason could possibly be, or it's just so mindless and so like that's his feed all the time that he's just liking it. I don't know. Either way, you're better than this guy. Don't talk to him. That's so gross. It's so gross. And so that's the moral of the story. Like, no, he's done. But I actually think, like, if anyone goes on a first date and asks to see their Explore page, let me know. I'm going to start asking like men what their Explore page looks like. I do it sometimes, but not often enough. I need to conduct a social experiment. Okay. Well, that was the first advice question. If you want to ask me an advice question, you can do so at bit.ly/KSFS advice. Now we are going to listen to another song, another Bay Area song, and then we will get into advice question number 2. See you soon. Welcome back to Grief Support Group. We are here for our final advice question of the day. Okay, let's get right into it. I keep saying let's get right into it. I'm trying to make it so I don't get distracted. Oh, by the way, you just heard Choices by E40. Okay, now we'll get into it. So this person asked how to deal with the death of a loved one when other loved ones don't talk about them. First of all, thank you for asking this question. I feel like this is a big one. I feel like this is a big one because you want to like accept and like not push because other people have different, not that you're pushing, but like other people have different ways of coping than maybe you do. Obviously the ideal, right, is that you can continue talking about your loved one who's died, and you can do it with like your family or other loved ones, but I feel like it's important to respect the ways that other people cope, and I think like the first thing I wanted to say is that like I think in your that sort of immediate circle, like you probably wish you could talk about that loved one who has died more, but I think it's really important and okay to like build your community outside of that immediate circle, and with other people in your community and in your outer, like not outer circle, but like in your like I don't know, neighboring circles, like talk about the loss with them, because I think, yeah, like talking about death and talking about loss and talking about what it means to you and grief and all of that, some people don't want to talk about that, especially if they're the ones experiencing it, you know. Make your friends talk about that with you. I think like figuring out who you can talk to about like certain aspects of your grief. I think a huge thing too, that I try to do, because I'll say this too, like I, you know, when I talk about like my mom or talk about my parents, like sometimes I do it more with, I mean, I talk about them all the time with my husband, but like sometimes I do it more with friends than, or talk about my grief, I guess, in general, than like I do maybe with my sister. But that doesn't mean like the way we talk about it is like wrong or different or whatever. We just like don't talk about like grief and death too much, but when we do, like we'll tell a story here and there, or we'll be like, oh, remember this memory or whatever, but we don't do that all the time, and I think that's okay. And so like I think if you with your family member want to talk about your family member who has died, or I guess you said loved one, your loved one who has died more, like maybe you could do it in ways that don't look like necessarily addressing the death and the grief head on in a way that maybe might make that person uncomfortable or the people uncomfortable. Maybe just incorporate stories of the person who has died. Maybe ask the person, you know, how they're doing, rather than being like, how are you coping, or how are you doing after their loss? Like maybe ask like in general, how are you doing, and see what comes up. Maybe openly share how you're feeling. Like if you're having a hard day or you're thinking about your grief, or it's really salient in that day, maybe say like, hey, this is how I'm feeling today. And it doesn't have to be like a whole thing, but like see what they say, or it could be a whole thing if you wanted to, obviously, but like see what they say and go from there. It's not that, I feel like the biggest thing, and not that you're saying this, but like I feel like it's not that they don't care to have those conversations, but they probably have their own comfort levels with discussing grief and discussing their grief, right? And so I think you want to tread respectfully, but then also don't be afraid to bring up your own feelings. And when I say bring up your feelings, I'm not like, we never talk about this, or we never talk about the person who has died, but rather, hey, here's how I'm feeling today, or, oh, I just thought of this story. And that way you can incorporate like the way you want to grieve the person with the way that they want to grieve the person around others. I hope that makes sense. I feel like it's hard, and you want to respect the other person, but you also want to be able to like be yourself and, you know, be open about that with your loved one. So I think doing it in ways that like aren't like fully being like asking them questions, but more offering up your own feelings, I think is the best way to do it. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And thank you so much for asking this question. And yeah, I think it's really important to share how you feel with your community, whether it's that circle of loved ones or, again, a neighboring circle, that you can kind of be a little more open about how you're feeling with them. But don't be afraid to share how you feel, because I think it's easier to listen to how someone feels than to share how you feel, right? And if this loved one is maybe having trouble engaging in those conversations, they would probably rather hear what you have to say versus what they have to say about grief. So thank you again so much for submitting that question. If anyone has any questions about love, life, death, grief, you can submit them anonymously for a future episode at bit.ly/KSFS advice. Okay, thank you all for joining me for Grief Support Group. This has been another episode, and I'm going to leave you off with Kaylani. I just fully stuck my mouth on the mic. It's just what's going on. Anyway, I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Oh, I also wanted to mention too, because like, I'm thinking about this a lot. If you like this episode and you're listening on a podcast app, please rate it. Please give a rating, because I think that helps me. So yeah, thank you all. Okay, love you all. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.